Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Great. Today, we're going to be exploring the life of APJ Abdul Kalam,
Oh, fascinating choice.
the brilliant mind behind India's space and missile programs. We'll be drawing from excerpts of his autobiography, Wings of Fire.
Classic.
And we'll also be looking at Playing to Win, the business strategy book by A.G. Lafley and Roger Martin.
Now that's an interesting combination. Yeah. Rocket science and business strategy.
Right. It might seem like an odd pairing at first glance, but trust me, there are some surprising connections there.
I'm intrigued already. What's the mission for today's deep dive?
Well, I'm really hoping we can uncover some universal truths about leadership, strategy, and maybe even a little bit about the human spirit.
Ambitious. I like it.
So, to kick things off, let's talk about Kalam's early life. He grew up on Rameswaram.
Rameswaram.
Yeah, it's a small island town. And Wings of Fire really paints a vivid picture of his upbringing, a real mix of Hindu and Muslim influences.
That's not your typical background for a future rocket scientist.
Right. It's pretty remarkable. And his parents, they created this incredibly harmonious home environment where both faiths were deeply respected.
It really speaks volumes about the kind of inclusive leadership that Kalam would later embody.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just about harmony, it was also about resourcefulness.
Mm.
His father, despite having limited formal education, he really instilled in Kalam this belief that any obstacle could be overcome with, enough ingenuity.
Now that's a valuable lesson. And it seems to be a principle that resonates throughout Kalam's entire career, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But even as a young boy, Kalam faced some real challenges. There's this one story in Wings of Fire that's really poignant,
Oh.
where a new teacher, trying to enforce segregation in the classroom,
I don't know.
moved him to the back of the classroom because of his religion.
Wow. That must have been a defining moment for him.
It really was. And I think you can see how an experience like that would shape his views on equality and inclusivity later on.
Essential values for building strong, diverse teams.
Exactly. But even while facing discrimination, Kalam's thirst for knowledge was just remarkable. He was so dedicated to education, even delivering newspapers to support his family while pursuing his passion for aeronautical engineering.
Talk about dedication.
Right. And then there's this pivotal moment where he meets Vikram Sarabhai.
Ah, Vikram Sarabhai, considered the father of the Indian space program.
Exactly. And this encounter was just a testament to the power of mentorship.
You know, that's a theme that echoes strongly in Playing to Win as well.
Oh, really?
Lofley and Martin actually highlight their own mentor-mentee relationship as a key ingredient in their success.
That's fascinating. So we've got Kalam, driven by this incredible vision.
Right.
But the SLV-3, India's first satellite launch vehicle,
Ambitious project.
it wasn't just about vision, was it? I mean, he had to navigate all sorts of bureaucratic hurdles, secure funding. How does Playing to Win address those real-world challenges?
That's a great question. Playing to Win is all about the importance of having not just a vision, but robust systems in place. You need those structures, the processes, to turn a grand vision into, well, tangible results.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how did Kalam gain insight into those systems?
Well, his mentorship with Sarabhai was key. He learned how to navigate the complexities of government funding, approvals, which proved invaluable later on.
So it wasn't just inspiration, it was practical know-how.
Exactly. Equipping him with the tools to turn his vision into a reality.
Amazing. And then he takes on this huge challenge, leading the development of the SLV-3.
Oh, that must have been a pressure cooker.
Imagine the weight of a nation's expectations on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And they had setbacks, right? Developing a satellite launch vehicle from scratch.
It's not exactly a walk in the park.
Definitely not. There were technical hurdles, moments where things didn't go as planned. Like I read about one instance where one of the stages of the rocket failed during a test flight.
Ooh, that's got to be tough. Not just a technical setback, but a blow to the team's morale, too.
Exactly. So how did Kalam respond to that? That's where real leadership shines, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So what did he do? Well, he rallied his team. He fostered this environment of collaboration, celebrated even the small victories. Kalam really instilled what he calls single-minded devotion to the goal.
He didn't just manage the project, he inspired the team.
Exactly. And that's what Lafley and Martin talk about, playing to win, isn't it? Setting that clear aspiration, building a motivated team, and then putting in place those strong management systems.
Oh yeah, those systems. That's where we see those parallels between rocket science and business strategy really emerge, huh? It's not enough to just have brilliant ideas.
Right. You've got to have the systems and the people to actually bring those ideas to life.
So Kalam's approach, it was more than just technical brilliance, wasn't it? It was about creating this whole culture of excellence, this shared purpose.
Exactly. And he was a big believer in what he called achieving a state of flow in their work.
Flow, yeah. That feeling of being so completely immersed in a task that, like, time just seems to disappear.
Exactly.
I can definitely relate to that. But how do you cultivate that flow in such a high-pressure environment like the SLV3 project?
Well, Kalam really believed in giving his team autonomy, empowering them to make decisions, take ownership,
Yeah, so it's about trust.
trust and respect,
Mm-hmm.
creating an environment where individuals can really get lost in their work, knowing they're supported.
That makes sense. And eventually, all that hard work paid off, didn't it? India launched its first satellite into space.
It was a landmark achievement, really showcased their technological capabilities to the world. But Kalam didn't stop there.
He didn't.
Nope. He went on to direct India's Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, the IGMDP.
Whoa, from satellites to missiles, that's a huge leap.
It was. And the IGMDP, it wasn't just about building missiles, it was about establishing India as a force to be reckoned with, on the global stage. And this is where his leadership was really put to the test.
Oh, I bet. What kind of challenges did he face there?
Well, now he was managing this vast network of scientists, engineers, institutions across India,
Mm-hmm.
and each of them with their own, agendas and priorities.
Sounds like a logistical nightmare. So how did he approach that? Was it the same kind of leadership style that he used for the SLV3?
He had to adapt.
Okay.
Kalam realized a traditional hierarchical structure, it just wouldn't work for the IGMDP.
Too rigid.
Way too rigid.
Hmm.
So he implemented what he called a matrix system.
A matrix system. What's that?
So in this system, individuals from different departments, they would collaborate on specific projects.
Okay.
It allowed for more flexibility and innovation.
Ah, I see. So instead of everyone reporting up through like a strict chain of command,
Right.
he created these cross-functional teams that could, move more quickly, adapt to new challenges as they arose.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that different challenges require different organizational structures. The IGMDP, it needed agility. It needed collaboration.
Yeah.
And the matrix system, it provided that.
That's so interesting. So it wasn't just about structure, though, was it? I mean, communication had to be a huge factor in all of this.
Oh, absolutely. Huge. You've got all these brilliant minds working on the IGMDP, but they need to be on the same page, sharing information, coordinating their efforts.
Sounds like a potential communication nightmare.
It could have been. But Kalam, he recognized just how important clear communication was. So he established these regular meetings,
Okay.
created these detailed progress reports, and he really fostered an environment where open dialogue was encouraged.
So everyone knew what everyone else was doing.
Exactly. He understood that to really play to win, in this really complex geopolitical landscape,
Mm-hmm.
everyone needed to be aligned on the strategy.
Makes sense. But communication, it's not just about sharing information, is it?
No,
It's also about building trust.
exactly. And that's another area where Kalam really excelled. He would actually make a point of visiting different research labs and testing facilities across India, meeting with the scientists and the engineers on the ground, listening to their concerns, celebrating their achievements. He understood the importance of building those personal connections.
So he wasn't just this distant figurehead.
Right.
He was actively engaged with the people doing the work.
Precisely. A leader who inspired through action, not just words. That's a powerful lesson for any leader, no matter what you're heading up.
It's true. And it seems like Kalam was really driven by the sense of national pride, too. Like, he wanted to see India become a leader in science and technology, not just for military purposes, but for the betterment of society as a whole.
Absolutely. He saw the IGMDP as a catalyst for technological advancement, something that would benefit all of India.
Yeah.
And that vision for a stronger, more self-reliant India, that's what really drove him.
That's powerful. And, that aligns perfectly with what Lafley and Martin talk about in Playing to Win.
Oh, how so?
They emphasize the importance of having a clear and compelling aspiration that goes beyond, just making a profit.
Right.
A company, they argue, needs to create value for its customers, its employees, and for society as a whole to achieve lasting success.
Kalam clearly embraced that philosophy.
It seems like we keep finding these common threads woven throughout both books, huh? This belief in human ingenuity, this dedication to excellence, this commitment to a greater good.
It's really striking. And it's worth noting that Kalam's story, it doesn't end with the IGMDP.
It doesn't.
No. He went on to become the president of India.
Wow. Talk about an incredible journey from this small island town to the highest office in the land.
It's a testament to what hard work, dedication, and a clear vision can achieve.
Really inspiring. And what I find so compelling about both Wings of Fire and Playing to Win is that while they offer all these valuable insights into strategy and leadership, they're ultimately about the human spirit, that drive to achieve, to overcome challenges, to make a meaningful contribution to the world.
That's what makes them so relatable, I think. They speak to something universal within us.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've seen how these principles connect across different worlds.
Right.
But launching a rocket and launching, say, a new product,
Yeah.
those are a pretty different endeavor. So where do those connections really lie?
Well, both Kalam and Lofley and Martin, they argue that to achieve extraordinary results, you need a few key things. First, a clear understanding of your goals,
Right.
a well-defined strategy for how you're going to achieve those goals, and the ability to adapt, to learn along the way. It's not about rigidly sticking to the plan. It's about having a framework,
Okay. So it's about having that strategic mindset.
Exactly. And both books also really emphasize empowering your team, fostering that collaboration, and creating a culture of excellence.
It's not about the lone genius, huh?
No, it's about harnessing the collective intelligence and energy of a group of people.
Makes sense. And celebrating those small victories along the way, too. Kalam talks about how even amidst the pressure of these massive projects, he and his team would take time to share stories, celebrate their achievements.
Those moments of shared joy and accomplishment, those are crucial. They fuel the passion, the commitment that's needed to really achieve extraordinary things.
And they remind us that success isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey and the people we share it with.
Well said.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the lives and works of APJ Abdul Kalam, AJ Lafley, and Roger Martin, what are some key takeaways for our listeners today?
Well, I think first and foremost, remember that success is rarely a solo endeavor. It's about building strong relationships, seeking out mentors who can guide you, and empowering those around you to do their best. Remember Kalam's story. Even when facing adversity, resourcefulness, and that deep belief in your vision,
Yeah.
those can lead to amazing results. And playing to win reminds us that strategy is key, but it's meaningless without a team that's motivated and empowered to execute it.
So find your team, find your purpose, and go make amazing things happen.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
To our listeners, we encourage you to explore more about APJ Abdul Kalam and the Indian space program. Pick up Wings of Fire, dive into Playing to Win, and most importantly, reflect on your own journey. What are your passions? What brings you into that state of flow? And how can you use those insights to create a life of meaning and purpose? Until next time, keep seeking knowledge, keep pushing those boundaries, and keep striving for excellence in all you do.